Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen.
Bakhair Agale, Ni Hao, Tunashumbe, Washmale, Ohio Gonzaimes, Guten Morgen, Hola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifahal, Halishuma Chatore, Ahlan Wasal, Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Swabiam, Balikara, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You watching World this morning on a very cold morning over here in Islamabad, alongside Ms. Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. We hope that everybody out there is doing perfectly well, but I think it's about time that I ask my co-host if she's doing wonderfully well or not. Hello, Shiza. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you so much for asking. What about you?
Well, I think I'm doing
Other than
great as well.
cold, how are
Yeah,
you?
other than COVID, I think I'm doing perfectly fine. Alhamdulillah. I made sure, over the period of last 4 or 5 days that I'm going to catch up on my sleep. And now recently, my nephews actually started to say that, that the amount of sleep you're getting for yourself is actually not very healthy. So
Oh.
every time I go to bed, I'm just asleep. So even if I'm going to sit on my bed, I'm like, okay, I think I'm about to sleep. Or probably it's the weather, ladies and gentlemen. So there's always this transition in between summer to cold,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
whenever you're moving from summers to winters, there's this time when you feel as if, you can sleep wherever you are.
Yeah, and
And I
especially
think
with
I'm
this,
enjoying that.
I know I absolutely love winter. Nothing that I hate about it, except for the morning allergies that we usually get. But here's the thing: it just this morning, because it was really so chilly, especially in the area that we live in. So all around the house, I'm turning on inverters, right? And it made me think of the time when we were getting ready for school, and we used to have gas heaters,
Yeah.
and we used to call dibs on who's going to go, because the five of us, mashallah, were going to school
So
together,
everybody
right?
just around the heater, right?
Yeah, and then whoever wakes up first will get the heater. Whoever comes out of the washroom first will get the heater. Fun times, man. Simpler
Exactly,
times.
those were fun times as well, and thank God that you've actually got inverters. I don't have inverters at my place,
You should. It's so
So for
easy.
all of those split ACs which are in place, they're from back in the day,
Oh, okay.
so they didn't have
Makes
that
sense.
technology back then. And then we as kids were never allowed to have heaters in our rooms,
Oh,
and
yeah, same here.
I think that I really need to say it out to people as well who are out there as well, ladies and gentlemen, that it's very dangerous. I've said it before too as well. And I've seen one or two incidents of such sort where people have lost their lives just because of the fact that there was a gas heater within their rooms and they fell asleep and
Oh,
there was no
God.
oxygen. And yeah, it is disastrous as well. So please, ladies and gentlemen, that's not recommended. But just having that one gas heater and having 7 siblings, mashallah,
Mashallah.
who are going to go to school or college all together. So it's always a fight. Even these days, with my sisters, I have this fight, so you actually nudge each other or, push the other person out of that circle so that you can get the heat. But other than that, I think it's just getting really cold and
It
everybody's
is.
enjoying the winters as well, especially for all of those people who wanted to look slim. So, they're just covering up with layers as well. They're like, okay, we look good as well. So I think winters has its benefits as well. But
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, we want each and every one of you to be very careful about how the situation is. We are
Absolutely.
witnessing 2,000 or plus cases of COVID these days as well, and the
On daily
COVID,
basis.
yes, on daily basis, and it has mutated. And this time around, they're saying that it's more dangerous and it's more fatal as well. And we want each and every one of you to just look after yourselves.
Absolutely. And Shazad, how with this thing, because it's a pandemic that's new, no one expected it. Ever since March or even before that, the information that we have keeps on changing.
Yeah.
It's not permanent because we're just learning about the virus and its characteristic itself.
Yeah.
And I think for the past few months, we were telling everyone on TV as well, there have been no recorded cases of recurrence,
Yep.
not in Pakistan, not in Europe, but guess what? It's here. People who have contracted the virus before are contracting it again. And not just once, it's twice or thrice.
Exactly.
So none of us is safe. Please, please, please be very careful in what you do. And it's a humble request. One more thing,
Yeah.
though. For the people who have contracted the virus, I know, because of the isolation, you get a major FOMO of probably going out and being with your friends and
Yeah.
whatnot. But that is the urge you have to kill for the sake of the safety of other people as well. I have seen a lot of inconsiderate people carrying the virus and then going around just for the sake of having fun. What is
Exactly.
that?
I think that I feel sorry for those people as well, ladies and gentlemen, that you actually do not have a heart for others, and you're actually putting everybody else at risk as well. So, if you, God forbid, I think I'm going to go back to when, for the very first time, I actually contracted COVID, that over
Yeah.
the weekend, I thought that, I wasn't feeling well. And,
Okay.
even on Monday, I was more likely to come towards my workplace as well. But I texted in the group and I was like, you know what,
Yeah.
I'm not feeling well, so I'm not sure whether it's COVID or not. So I'm going to get myself tested. Was the results going to come out? I will actually let you know whether I have it or not. And if I'm going to have it, which I had, I didn't actually show up to work for the next 21 days.
Right.
Even though that gave me a little bit of blow because we don't get paid for all of those days which we miss out. So it wasn't really fun. But thankfully, alhamdulillah, when I recovered, you know, I was back at work, everybody gave me a warm welcome. So please make sure in the first place that you're not putting anybody else's life at risk, ladies and gentlemen. And then there was this other thought, you know, which came across my mind, and that is, you know, since we are people who usually are on stage or in front of camera and
Right.
for all of that glitz and glamour is going on, you know, there'd be several magazines posting your pictures onto their Instagrams as well, and you love that attention. And I was just coming across this thought, which I know wasn't really a good thought as well, but
Okay.
I was like, okay, you know, I think that we really need to talk about this with other people as well, because alhamdulillah, ladies and gentlemen, every morning we come over here, we talk to you, we're getting paid for this as well. But not just that, I think having to know that, you know, there are a lot of other people who actually follow you or who want to listen to you, you are really more careful about things then. But
Definitely.
then what I came across was that, you know, since that adrenaline rush was missing from my life, you know, all of that attention was missing for the past 6 months, ladies and gentlemen, because we haven't really come across a lot of public events. There were one or two, alhamdulillah, I'm glad that I was a part of them. But you know, it just gets to you as well. And then this thought came to me that, you know, okay, you know, if we're going to make it out alive, inshallah, you know, things will be fine. And, you know, such ups and downs are a part of life. And I want
Absolutely.
each and every one of you to understand this way, that this time will go away, ladies and gentlemen. This time is not going to be here forever. The best part and the promising part of this conversation is that alhamdulillah, the vaccine is here. You know, for all of those people who want to volunteer for it, you can volunteer as well. So alhamdulillah, we're moving in the right direction, and in
Definitely.
no time we will actually be at a place where everything's going to open up, and each and every door we have been knocking on will open up for all of us,
Inshallah,
and we have to
inshallah.
believe in it.
Definitely. And Shazad, you know, the thing about time is it has to pass.
Yeah.
No one has control over time except for Allah, of course. And I mean, in the last century, after the plague and after the Great Wars, we were seeing the Great Depression as well.
Yep.
If people survived that, I'm pretty sure, I mean, we have it in us as humans as well to survive this. We're in this together, and inshallah, we'll come out of it together.
Exactly.
But one thing we cannot forget, Shazad, due to the pandemic, the massive hit has actually been taken by the education sector.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why, because that is, well, the future of the nations, right? The students who are in probably even high school right now, universities, whatnot, even primary school, man, they are the future of the nation. But because of the uncertainty of the situation, no one really knew, not only in Pakistan, all around the globe, no one really knew if the institutions should be open or not. Then, you know, a few months later, a hybrid model was introduced as well.
Learning management systems.
Yes, whatnot. And but the thing is, a lot of people still are really confused. But Pakistan and the educational institutions over here, they really do not want to waste their students' time anymore.
Exactly.
And they really want the best kind of education to be imparted to them, even in the time of the pandemic.
Exactly.
So where are we? Should we talk about it?
Yeah. Let's talk about this. And I think that this is a very important issue and a topic as well, ladies and gentlemen, because I was in conversation with a medicine last year student, and I was like that, you know, we are actually about to appear in our prof, and I was like, hey, you know what, you didn't actually had any classes.
Right.
It was like, but you know, there's still going to be a prof, and we're going to appear in it because nobody wants to waste a year of their life or
Yes.
probably 6 months for whatever reasons. But ladies and gentlemen, other than that, I think that since we're going to talk about education, obviously we need to speak about the kind of SOPs being followed by universities and their administration. But not just that, I think that there's a deeper understanding amongst, you know, me and Shiza, that we wanted to talk about all of those different disciplines
Yes.
which worldwide the universities are offering, but unfortunately we do not have this over here in Pakistan. Over here in Pakistan, we're still talking about, you know,
The generic one,
mechatronics,
yes.
we're talking about engineering, we're talking about BBA, MBA, or for that matter, in international relations now,
Yeah.
or mass communication. I think these are the only most common disciplines we talk about, and people want to get themselves admitted for in the universities. What about those other disciplines, 250 other disciplines, because we've had students from universities abroad as well, and they speak about disciplines which we haven't even heard
Never
of.
heard of.
And I think that if the world is moving in that direction, we need to move in that direction as well, and we need to actually offer such disciplines or such courses to students which will be useful for them worldwide or world over.
Absolutely, and not just the private universities or institutions, the public ones actually need to step up. And I think it's very apt that we actually call someone from the public university to
Yeah.
speak on behalf of them as well, and probably, ask him, especially in the time of this pandemic, because, Shazad, while a lot of eyes will be on the private institutions, most of the eyes are on the public institutions on how they're going to handle this, on the decisions that they are going to make, and, well, the quality, is it going to be compromised or not? So let's get to
Exactly.
it.
And to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen, but first and foremost thing for everybody who's out there, I think that this is something which people need to know, and that is that when we speak about public universities, ladies and gentlemen, public universities have a higher ranking
Yes.
in terms of whenever we compare a private university or a public university, ladies and gentlemen, talk about Qaid-e-Azam University and talk about any other university as well. Public universities have a higher ranking, and there's a reason, because they have some strict measures in place as well, and they have these different courses and some amazing teachers as well.
Yeah.
But to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually invited somebody who actually had to travel almost 14 or 15 hours to make it to our studios as well.
There's a
We are still
motorway
very
now.
grateful and we are still very thankful as well. And the university he's representing today, ladies and gentlemen, has great history to it as well. So very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by the Vice Chancellor of Islamic University of Bahawalpur, and he himself happens to be Professor Dr. Atar Mehboob Saab. Hello sir, Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam and good morning to everyone.
Thank you
you
so
very
much for coming all the way from Bahawalpur. You probably sort of changed provinces, I'll tell you that. But thank you for making it here. We'd love to have our conversation with you.
Yes.
But to begin, we are going through a pandemic. This is going to be a basic question, but the answer everyone is looking for. How do public universities make sure, or speak about yours specifically,
Yes.
they make sure that the education is not compromised, it's given on time, and, well, the time is not wasted for the students especially?
Yes, due to the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic,
Yeah.
the universities in Pakistan transitioned to the blended mode of education.
Right.
Since last March 2020. And now during the second wave also, we have to revert to the online delivery of the lectures. However, we did open for about 2 months in the interim period. The higher education, as you know, the model of delivery has changed a lot. It's more learner driven than more teacher driven. However, the teacher has to create the activities which will create the environment, the initiative and the drive in the students. So that the online mode is really halfway there.
Right.
The classroom interaction provides that activities through which the students can be engaged more, and they can internalize the information that is given in the course. So the public universities are well aware of it. There has been a transition going on in higher education, and I can speak on behalf of Islamia University of Bahawalpur in particular, and reference to the point that you raised about the variety of educational opportunities and educational pathways that we need to provide to our students.
Exactly.
In that context, in the Islamia University of Bahawalpur, we have transitioned, and now we are offering more than 124 different programs at the undergraduate level.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So,
That's
so,
amazing.
so even in the business school, it is not just a plain BBA, the Bachelor in Business Administration. The student can opt to take the project management stream, or take the tourism stream, and or the
marketing
entrepreneurship,
stream,
the
yeah.
marketing stream. So we are well aware of this, and we are also coming up with the newer disciplines, especially due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the health education sector. We have all realized that it is just not the clinical medicine that is important, but the whole lot of public health,
Yes.
nursing,
Yes.
and the other programs that are required in the period of the pandemic, where the social sciences need to integrate with the medicine and health sciences, and provide policymakers with the right kind of guidance to control the pandemics and the disease in the society.
Exactly, that's very wonderfully said and explained as well, and we are glad that Islamia University of Bahawalpur is actually offering more than 120
Impressive.
different disciplines and subjects or courses as well, for that matter. But there's one more thing which I wanted to ask today, and that is something which I've witnessed over the period of life. And talking about it, what I've witnessed is that when we talk about university or going to university, even though I didn't knew about it when I was about to go to university, and that is, so there's this education bit of it, and then there's this personality development bit of
Oh,
it. And
definitely.
and it for sure that over
Yes.
here in Pakistan, the schools really do not have to work on that part of it, where which type, whether how to dress up, how to talk to somebody, presentation skills, and all of these
Yes.
things, and they do matter. And ladies and gentlemen, for me to be a good host, if people think that I'm a good host, I think my university has played a very pivotal role, because in each and every subject, in each and every class, you're participating with other people, there are group projects, and then you have to present and whatnot,
Right.
which is great. But one way or the other, I'm sorry if you feel bad about it, which I do not really intend to, and that is that with public institutions or with public universities, I've seen that the standards of personality development are very low rather than in comparison with the private universities. Do you agree to it in the first place?
Yes, I would agree with that, because we have to first agree or identify the problem, and only then we can fix it, because denial really doesn't work in the long run. So the public university, especially at the Islamia University of Bahawalpur, also like other universities, we are transitioning to a model where the 4 year of university education brings a value proposition to the individual.
Right.
Because in these times, you are well aware that the industry is demanding a skill set in the workforce, and they are willing to pay the premium for the skill set. So there are programs out there that within 6 to 9 months they can give you the requisite skills, whether it is related to software development or designing of a chip.
Diplomas and stuff, right?
Yes, the short-term training programs that do prepare you for some skills that make you employable straight away. However, the university graduate, the value proposition that he or she has with the university education is not just the skills, but the broad-based general education, where the individual appreciates literature, arts, humanities, social sciences, gets a broad-based view of the knowledge as a whole, and then throughout the life, the skills that are needed, which are interpersonal skills like teamwork. So we see in Pakistan that we have great individuals who excel in their own discipline. However, we do lack those teamwork skills, where other nations and other people and other organizations with sort of like average individuals but having good teamwork and interpersonal skills, they're able to deliver and perform high overall. But in Pakistan, we do feel that our graduates lack those skills. So now we are working on those skills at this time, and our education is more activity driven, and we believe that the 4 years of education will prepare the individual for lifelong learning, as well as leadership skills. So as the individual goes and works in team environment in organizations, industry, or the government, he or she also works as a team member and creates what is called synergy. And once we have that synergetic effect, then our organizations will become more productive.
Okay, that's brilliant. And you know what, Professor Saab, I think it's really amazing to see your mentality on how you're dealing with things and how you want to take your institution further as well. Now, there's one thing I want to talk about, and it's not just specific to public institutions. In fact, even private ones, I don't want to name right now. But there's a trend in Pakistan, you will agree for sure. A person with a PhD can be a teacher to university students, to school, whatever, just because he has a PhD. Now, someone who is brilliant at research, just sitting at the expense of their bed or sitting in the lab, does not have the quality to run a 40-person class. You know what I mean? To deal with their personalities, to impart the knowledge that he has. And it's only natural. People who are good at research are not necessarily good teachers. So is this the criteria sort of that we're looking at?
We are looking at Islamia University of Bahawalpur. We are looking for faculty members who are more balanced in their approach. And it is not only their research or the number of research papers that they produce that is the criteria for their performance. So let me tell you that at Islamia University of Bahawalpur, some of the things that I said about teamwork and synergy, I've been there for about 16 months. And during those 16 months, we have taken the institution. It had an enrollment of about 15,000 students when I joined. Today it has an enrollment of 37,000 students because it was operating under capacity. When I joined, I discussed the matter with the deans, the chairpersons, the senior faculty, and then all across the faculty we came up with a plan that we are going to take the student enrollment to up to 50,000, which is the capacity of the institution, and we are going to introduce new programs that had been pending for some time that were not given permission to be launched, but they were need of the time. And we believe that faculty training is an important part. So one of the things, among other things that we are doing, we are encouraging our faculty members to themselves work in the industry. So a faculty member is not just allowed but highly encouraged to go and engage with the industry which doesn't mean teaching as a visiting teacher somewhere else, but it actually means working and utilizing the knowledge in a
Right.
practical environment.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
then that faculty member himself or herself will know the needs of the industry and will prepare the students accordingly. That faculty member will become a career counselor, career counseling manager and a placement officer. So rather than having a single office working to place 40,000 students in the industry, we would rather have our 1,000 faculty members, each one of them being a career coach and a placement officer. That way we can solve the problem of the placement of the students.
I like
And
it.
it's a brilliant
it's
idea.
amazing.
And you know what I'm thinking right now is, ladies and gentlemen, that this particular idea actually just blew me off because
For
nobody
real.
ever thought about it. So
For
I think,
real.
sir, you first of all truly deserve to be a vice chancellor. If that's the kind of vision you have as well. But there's one thing which is missing. Now, obviously, the teachers actually have to go and work in the industry, which I think is a great idea for teachers as well, because earlier they weren't really allowed by the university. They can have a great household, they can earn some good money, which is great, and have a great lifestyle as well. And I want teachers to have a better lifestyle than other people anyways, so that students at least, take some kind of inspiration from them, which is wonderful. But now there's one thing which is missing, two in fact.
Okay.
And that is that the teachers actually have to go and work for the industry so that they are their career counselors as well, because there's no bridge in between the universities and the corporate sector or the public sector for that matter.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, no university teaches you how to be a yes boss man or a yes man, or and this is something which you actually have to do or learn by yourself as well, by witnessing that, okay, the boss just wants a yes from me every time I'm in front of him or whatever is going on. And this is something which is very prevalent in our culture. Every other boss wants the the person or whoever he or she has employed to say yes boss, yes
Right.
boss, and it's a
Okay.
culture, ladies and
Now,
gentlemen, and nobody
let
and
me-
no university
We
is
can't
teaching
deny
us
it.
that.
Okay, now let me interject. The first part is that we have established an office for faculty industrial placement,
Okay.
and we are actively working on focusing on placing the 1,000 faculty members that we have into the industry rather than 40,000 students.
Yeah.
Because indirectly, those faculty members will then be working more actively on the placement of the students. The second part is, as I said, the university education brings a value proposition which places more emphasis on being a critical thinker also. So being a yes man and being a critical thinker.
It's two opposite things, I tell
they're
you
two
that.
opposite things. So we would not want all our students to be just
Yes
yes
man.
persons.
Right.
Rather, we would want them to be team members who do articulate their own ideas
Yeah.
and support them with logical arguments,
Yeah.
so their team can then benefit. The decision has to be a
Right.
team decision,
Yeah.
but the university graduate must show that he or she can analyze a problem and bring some value to the decision
Exactly.
making.
But sir, it's always the yes man who's a critical thinker,
No, I was
because
but-
for somebody who's only a critical thinker, ladies and gentlemen, does
There's
not
no
really
play.
make far away. And I'm
Sure.
being honest over here. And that you're right that for everybody who's in a university, they really need to have their critical mindset out there as well, so that they
Yes.
can comprehend well.
Yes.
But yes man is
But
important too as
Shahzad,
well.
I think with this, we're taking the conversation away from you being the Vice Chancellor, but it's a fact. I'm going to 100% agree with Shahzad. And sir, wouldn't you actually want to suggest something about it? Because while this may sound funny, we're talking about it, but it's a culture, and it's a massive culture. Yes, you said we don't teach students to be the yes man, which is absolutely. I wouldn't want my siblings or my children to learn to be that,
Yeah.
right? But imparting them with critical thinking, which is never going to be appreciated in the country. So what is it? Is it the students that we need to change, or is it the mentality
No, but where
that
you need to think critically is that which person to say yes to, ladies and gentlemen. That's
It
that's
doesn't
the
work
most
that way,
important
right?
aspect as well.
Yes,
Sir.
well, the most important thing to realize for the students as they go out and work in the industry, they have to have independent thinking approach. However, it has to be based on facts and information, and sometimes it does take a lot of experience to actually learn about the issues. It is not always that your boss is
Always
an
right.
illogical person or a wrong, just forcing you to do something. There may be a reason, because he or she has more experience and he or she knows the target or the outcome that you are trying to achieve. So in order for you to propose an alternative view, first you have to experience and learn. That is one thing. The second thing is the universities, we all know, are a means for a long-term social, cultural and political change in a society.
Definitely.
So it has more to do with our worldview, about our social values, and I think over a period of 5 to 10 years, if the universities reform themselves and produce the right kind of graduates, then over a 5 to 10 year period, the whole society can transition to a new form where innovation, where critical thinking is more appreciated.
Exactly, and that's wonderfully said as well. And it is because of the reforms which have actually taken place, ladies and gentlemen, a few years earlier, that we actually now think about entrepreneurship, and that we've seen a larger percentage of increase in people who actually want to have their own businesses or do their own businesses as well, which I think is great. But now, sir, coming down to a point where when we talk about, probably in the rest of the world, the practice is very different. For example, if they have to produce, chartered accountants, they will have a number of list or how many people are actually required every year. And that's how they're going to produce a graduate. Or even if we talk about law, or even if we talk about engineers or doctors as well, for that matter. And they're not going to produce an excess of student. Over here, unfortunately, I think that, indirectly, I am actually blaming private universities who really will enroll anybody and be like producing 1,000 BBAs probably, 1,000 bachelors, after every 4 months and 6 months as well, where there's no requirement in the market. So how do you think that we really need to have an alliance with the market, the universities, and produce as many students as many are required, rather than overproducing and then coming down to a point where the student really does not get a job and unfortunately or unwantedly have to start their own business, which I think is great as well.
Yes.
But how are we going to have that balance?
Okay, you have a very valid question, but there are two sides to that question. The first side is the number of graduates that we should produce in a particular discipline.
Exactly.
Definitely fields like engineering, accountancy, or specific like medicine.
Yep.
I can throw certain numbers at you. In Pakistan, we have about 200,000 registered medical practitioners or doctors, whereas we have less than 100,000 registered nurses.
Right.
Now the international standard is for each practicing doctor you need 5 nurses. So we should have had about 1 million nurses, but we are highly underproducing the number of nurses.
Right.
Secondly, the nurses are not only required in our own country, but nursing is a very highly paying profession, whether you go to the Middle East, Western Europe, North America, where there, even Japan, where there are aging populations.
Yes.
And there is a lot of market for qualified nurses, and that market is currently being taken up by Philippines, by China, by India, or other countries, and Pakistan is not getting its fair share of the pie. So sometimes our planners have to plan not just for the local or domestic marketplace, but they have to plan for the international marketplace also, which we are lacking. So I do agree with you that we are lacking a lot of planning. But I would then take you back to the other question, other part of this question, by telling you an example that the HR manager organized for a company, organized a training program and then went to the CEO for the approval. There was certain cost associated with the training program. So the CEO said, what if we train all our people with this expense and they all leave? So then the HR manager said, sir, what if we don't and they stay with us? So our people are our asset. So as I told you, that the university education has the value proposition that it will create leaders, innovators and problem solvers. So our solution to our problem doesn't lie in producing less number of university graduates, but rather producing large number of quality graduates.
Absolutely.
This would be my
100%.
thought.
So and that's wonderful as well. VC Saab has said it, ladies and gentlemen. It's quality with quantity, I think, and if we can ensure that, I think there's nothing more like it as well. But thank you very much, sir, for being with us. You've taken out a lot of time from your busy schedule. You came all the way from Bahawalpur. We are glad that you've taken out time and that you spoke about these issues.
It has been
as
a
well.
pleasure.
Yes,
It's our
and this,
pleasure.
ladies and gentlemen, was for the very first time, or I think second time in my life, that I had a light-hearted conversation with the Vice Chancellor, because every time I went to my Vice Chancellor's office, it was a different ballgame. I was very scared. But thank you very much, sir. You're very kind.
Most welcome.
And I think that's the right vision. This is something which we really need to put our heads to, ladies and gentlemen. But right now,
We're heading to a very short break, but when we come back, we'll still be talking about how people are making a change in the education sector and how that matters. Stay tuned. Good morning.
good morning.
Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen, where like every other day, Shahzad and I today again took a pledge to talk about all the brilliant things in Pakistan and how good people are making a change.
Exactly, and ladies and gentlemen, before heading out towards a short break, we were actually in conversation with a visionary who actually happened to be Vice Chancellor of Islamic University, Bahawalpur, and he spoke about some issues. In fact, we asked him about issues and he actually replied in such a manner where we thought to ourselves that, that, okay, we are impressed and this is the way forward as well.
Definitely.
But not just that, ladies and gentlemen, not everybody is lucky enough to get their hands onto a university course. Not everybody makes it to university, and it's because of the fact that, whatever background they hail from, or unfortunately, it's the financial reasons as well. And this is where, our current guest actually steps in, because she happens to be a social activist. She happens to be advocate High Court as well. And she's actually making sure that nobody is actually going to be ripped off of their right of education. And not just that, but clean drinking water as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by a social activist who happens to be Miss Ruth Rukhsana. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, how are you?
Hello, assalamu alaikum, and very good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us.
So Ruth, we've read about you, and mashallah, the kind of work you do, it's brilliant. But let the first question be, in a world where everyone is probably looking for things to secure for themselves, to make their life better, to make a secure future for their children, whatnot. You want to share what you learned, not only in terms of the money, but in terms of the knowledge as well. Where does that idea come from? Or where does that, let's say, upbringing come from?
Okay, first of all, thank you so much for having me.
It's our pleasure.
And it's a matter of immense pleasure being on a state channel. And
it's our pleasure.
Thank you so much. And the thing is, how it happened that I thought to build up a school. Actually, I really don't wanted to build up a school because I think it's something more than my height. I can't.
Okay.
But the thing is, I didn't go there to make a school, to build up a school. I actually went there for water projects.
And where was this?
Tharparkar?
Yeah, in
Okay.
Tharparkar. Actually, I heard in news that people are dying every year cause of hunger or thirst. So I thought to myself, and I talked to myself that what kind of death that is due to hunger or due to thirst.
Right.
Is there no solution that we may save some people? So I start a campaign on social media regarding this because I had nothing. I had nothing in any way that I don't have much money. I don't have idea even that how I'm going to provide them with clean water. So I just
but you just had the will to do it.
Yes, I just had will. So and I know that I have to do that. It's not something impossible. In this world, everything is possible. So I went there for water project. When I went there, I saw people
and we
without
we have those pictures as well, so you can even let us know about these pictures.
These are my kids.
Okay, where is this
My
from
children.
Tharparkar, what you're talking about?
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
What is happening here? Oh, you're
Actually,
distributing syllabus and stuff, right?
yes.
That's nice, mashallah.
And nowadays they are following SOPs as well,
Oh, that's very important.
which is very important.
Not to forget. Ruth, where are you from basically? Do you come from somewhere near Tharparkar?
No, not at all. I'm from Rawalpindi. So it was very difficult to even think about a school where you don't know anything. But there was a passion. And I think that there is nothing impossible. Everything that you do in your life, there are challenges that you have to face. But when your vision is above, when you start living your vision, then challenges doesn't make any,
exactly. So how did you go about it? So you know that there's something in Tharparkar that needs your attention.
Yeah.
What did you do? Did you just go there right away?
I just told you that I went there for water projects, but when
did you seek help from institutions and donations and anything like that?
Yeah, I did it with my family and friends.
Oh, wow.
And I found people, they are very willing to stand with me, they were willing to help me out in all that. And when I started, I was thinking that I'm alone, but soon I felt that many people are behind me, many people are even wanted to stand with me. So the basic thing that that was the land I was gifted. So this was all free, and then people who were there in Third Parker, they were very interested to educate their children.
Yes.
So they said that they will labor in
your school?
building a school for free.
That's
So
so nice.
many things are happening like in this way. So I built up that school in just, I think, 2.5 months.
Wow.
So in
That was
2.5 months, you
surprising,
built a school
because
for kids who actually didn't had any place to go and study as well, which is
Wow.
great. But now I'm going to ask you a very different thing, and this is something which I think people will take inspiration from, and that is that, you know, we live in an era where people want LV and Gucci for themselves, where people want all the expensive products as their own possessions, where people want to have a lifestyle which is probably similar to Kardashians too as well.
I want to have a Ferrari.
I mean, yeah, you know, everybody wants to live an exotic life. You know, this is
Yeah.
what we see on Instagram or
That's
Facebook.
nice.
So what compelled you to, you know, ignore all of that and move on in a direction where you will be helping more people, rather giving people this thought that, you know, you can do better. You know, even if you're going to give up on all of these possessions, you will have contentment, you will have fulfillment, and you will have enrichment of blessings as well. So how did you do that?
And let me just say, only a beautiful mind can do that.
I think I'm an ordinary person, and reason being here on this show, though I'm not very expert or good at any foreign language, I'm not comfortable even, but still I'm here because I want through my thoughts that I am sharing here, I may inspire someone behind the screen, that if ordinary person with ordinary talents like myself, if I can do this, I can play my part in making a difference, then why not other people are a lot more talented than I am. So the thing is, I believe that I'm born
Different?
to help,
To make a change. That's
I'm born
nice.
with a vision. So everything what I do, I believe I can. The first step is always difficult, but then it's all easy.
But you know-
and people in Pakistan are really supportive.
Yes.
Whenever you take a stand for any social cause, I found out people, they are really supportive, really encouraging as well.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
and that's wonderful. And you know, adding on to that as well, I think that, you know, your direction is very right as well. And you know, if you take the first step in the right direction, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, you know, then you can see the path which you really need to pave your way on,
Right.
which is great. But you know, I want to ask you about something which might give you happiness. I'm very sorry. That's how the weather is these days as well. But what I wanted to ask was that, you know, so once I was traveling on motorway, I was coming back to Islamabad. I didn't feel right. There were a lot of people who helped me. I still remember them in my prayers. You know, at times I might even give them a call and be like, hey, you know what, you helped me back then. And I'm very thankful for that. So, you know, for all of those kids whom you are providing free education with or clean drinking water, whenever they will come across you, they'll be like, hey, Ruth, you know what, you've done a great job, and, you know, we're just thankful. What is the kind of feeling you get when people come to you and say that, you know, we're thankful?
Actually, some people are having that ability to saw a dream that is different from others. And luckiest are those who are able to achieve that dream.
Absolutely.
Who saw their dream in practical way, like I used to. So feeling I have in me are how to describe, but the happiness I can't describe in the words, and I can't describe in
Words.
words, of course. It's difficult, but of course I'm happy, and more I'm looking forward those children to get education, to be doctor, to become engineers.
Exactly.
But while you cannot find words to put your happiness in it, let me just tell you, you changed a million lives, I'm pretty sure. Because it's not just that the few people living in that area, we're talking about the future of the people as well. We're talking about the people connected to them as well. And while Shahzad, you know, we all know the type or the quality of drinking water in the areas in the interior Sindh or places like Tharparkar and whatnot, and someone to actually take up that, it's really hard. I'll tell you what, I know people who have tried. It's really hard to actually get access to getting a water, what is it called, a water cooler or dispenser, whatever it is, right, in such a place as well, to where you cannot even find clean water. So it's a big achievement. And you know what, each and every single time those people drink that clean water, they will think of you and they will pray for you, and you will never be short of prayers as well. So thank you for doing your amazing work. Now Ruth, towards the end, I want you to give out a message to the youth of Pakistan on how to achieve their dreams like you did.
And what are your future goals?
Yes, that too.
Okay, as far as my future goals are concerned, I want to make a free college as well.
Oh wow, brilliant.
For the students who can't afford. Actually, the thing behind this all, the inspiration is Pakistan itself. I really am in love with my country. Maybe everyone loves their homeland, but the motivation behind everything I do is Pakistan. I want to see Pakistan as a developing nation, as developing all sectors in our field of lives. So coming towards a message that I wanted to give to the viewers, maybe it's different from the work I'm doing. But the thing is, right now I am observing and I am experiencing that in whole world, actually, we are trying to get education, which is need of time, that we need to invest in education basically, but there are few areas where we are lacking as human, and that is emotional education and emotional system that we need to develop in our culture to save lives. People, we are watching many people who are educated, but who are talented, but they are losing this battle when it's come to emotional warfare.
Exactly. Thank you very much for saying that, and I think that it's a very important message as well. But thank you very much, Ruth, for taking our time and sharing your story with our amazing viewers as well. And we hope, ladies and gentlemen, and we keep on bringing such guests so that, there might be a lot of people. We go out in 46 different countries, and there might be anybody who just took inspiration and will change or bring about difference in a lot of different lives as well, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that this emotional quotient point is very important as well. We talk about IQ quite a lot, but we forget to talk about EQ. EQ, ladies and gentlemen, plays a balanced role in your life, and I think that for all of those people who have had this EQ to themselves are people who've been making the right decisions. This is something which I feel, because if you're emotionally balanced only, then you can actually be in the right direction as well. But if you're emotionally driven only, I think that things can take a different turn.
Definitely. I wish this was something that I was taught in university or college or school at any point in my life. I'm missing out on it. But ladies and gentlemen, we really hope you actually did take away something from our show, because honestly, Shahzad and I right now so inspired. Both of the guests were, mashallah, so amazing. If you have any similar stories, or if you know of someone who's doing an amazing job, do let us know about them. We'd love to be in conversation with them. Write us on our Facebook page with the name of
World This Morning.
On Twitter.
World This Morning without a G.
On YouTube.
On YouTube, it's World This Morning, ladies and gentlemen.
And the repeat of the show you can catch.
And the repeat will be at 5 past midnight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. Remember us all in your prayers. Remember all of those people who are actually in need of prayers as well.
Please.
Wear a mask if you are going out. Well, in fact, I would recommend, please do not step out of your houses unnecessarily.
Yes.
Look after yourselves. Bye-bye. Good morning.
Good morning.